Welcome to GOLT Talk, your podcast for technology and innovation in the legal profession. If you're searching for solutions to revolutionize your legal practice, you're in the right place. 10 minutes pure, actionable product insights from CEOs shaping the future of legal technology. And here is your host, Tom Pfennig.
Hi everybody, welcome to GOLT Talk, your podcast for innovation and technology in the legal and compliance space. 10 minutes, pure, actionable insights from CEOs shaping the future of law. Today, it's my distinct pleasure to welcome Marco Henri, CEO of Omnilex, based in Zug, Switzerland, the second Swiss-based company that we are introducing here on the GOLT podcast. My name is Tom, and I'm your host today. And without further ado, over to you, Marco. Can you share a little bit about your journey as the CEO of Omnilex? And then we dive right into the first two questions.
Sure. Nice to meet you, and thank you very much for having me. I'm Marco, CEO and one of the co-founders of Omnilex. We are a legal tech startup coming from the ETH in Zurich in Switzerland, and now also rapidly growing in Europe and especially Germany. What do we do and what is Omnilex? We are a legal AI workspace specialized on the legal reasoning.
And we can dive a little bit deeper into what this really means. But for those who have not heard the acronym ETH, that's the Eidgenössische Technische Hochschule in Zurich, one of the top engineering and other disciplines universities in the world. So you guys are coming from a very strong academic background as well. And with that, let's talk about Omnilex. What is making you different from other vendors in this space? What's the USP? And what are the use cases that you're serving with your solution?
Sure. So what really stands out when using Omnilex as a lawyer is the answer quality, because we have AI generated and synthetic content that we also did research on. And we really focus very much on specific law and jurisdictions like the German law, like the Swiss law. And of course, not only from our side on the technical and product part, but also on the customer success. We are very close with all our customers. Every pilot we ever had turned into a long-term customer or a licensed customer. Today, we're serving over 100 organizations, medium to larger sized law firms and legal teams that use Omnilex. And our customers are really a broad palette from big pharma like Bayer to institutions like the Federal Chancellery of Switzerland, big insurances, but of course also major law firms shaping the trends of legal innovation. The top use case that we are serving with Omnilex is that we are really able to answer very complex legal research questions and legal analysis tasks from A to Z, and also other use cases, of course, with a very reliable system behind it, like the grids, which is a kind of a tabular review feature, playbooks for contract checks, where that is to also work directly in the document, doing back checking, doing writing stuff and whatsoever. But what really stands out, and that's really also the top use case, is everything that is related to the legal analysis.
Okay, so in essence, just to repeat what I'm hearing, it's definitely a search co-pilot. It is helping with contract review. Does it help with contract drafting as well?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and then the tabular review, what does that mean?
So when it comes to the Omnilex grid and the tabular review feature, it's really about extracting in a very structured way and also tailored to your case or your task a big amount of data, of documents, for example, to get an overview about the subject matter, but also to benchmark documents, for example.
Okay, very good. And last question in this space, when you say it's very accurate, particularly with respect to the German and Swiss regulations, how come that it is more accurate than others?
So the answer to this question is twofold. On the one hand side, of course, Omnilex is much more than just a trained large language model as we see it in other providers. We really replicated the lawyer's methodology and lawyer's working structure, which facilitates the ability within Omnilex to also reason like a lawyer and to also think like a lawyer. And part of that is also, and that's the second part to this answer, the synthetic data that we did research on and created ourselves that helps to get a better understanding between, for example, the interdependent dependencies between the law and the case law and court decisions, helping to even give you a more in-depth analysis and more in-depth answer on your research question.
So you're not building upon the known large language models, you have your proprietary one?
We are building upon the language models. Of course, we always seek to work with the best, and we do that. So we do not have our own model.
And the reasoning and the synthetic data, that is a proprietarily developed feature within
Completely
Omnilex.
Proprietary, exactly.
Let's move to the next pair of questions. Who are you partnering with? For example, Microsoft or other large IT enterprise architectures? And who are your direct competitors?
Sure. So who are we partnering with? Of course, Microsoft, Azure, also all the LLM providers that we have access to the LLMs to. We are partnering with all major data management systems, CLMs, but also ERP providers to also make the user interaction with Omnilex as smooth as possible. And very soon we will also collaborate with one of the leading publishers in Europe.
Okay, very interesting. So the competitors, please.
So there are other AI workspaces out there, right, that target similar segments like us. An example, a famous example is Legora, but also in Germany, for example, Libra. And because of the rapid software development in AI, many providers also have similar or even same features. What really makes us different is the answer quality, as I mentioned before, and the legal depth within those. And we're also very much focused on this with our tech team. We have one of the best engineering teams in the world, purely coming from the ETH Zurich, and most realize that there's really a lot of technical power behind it after testing Omnilex out the first time.
And in terms of the testing of the quality, so did you do some head-to-head comparisons in terms of the quality of the output?
Of course.
And there is data for potential clients to look at and really see the difference.
Surely.
Great. And then I think one more thing on the differentiating factors. You said your clients are very happy and long-term relationships have been developed. Do you have an implementation team on the Omnilex side that helps so that really this bottleneck basically is being addressed?
We do invest a lot in customer success because adoption within the organization, of course, is also crucial, right? After the decision or the buying decision. What really is cool with Omnilex and also stands out in comparison to many alternative providers is that you don't really have to do anything to start using Omnilex because everything is set up from our side, and we really make sure that without any effort, Omnilex is getting implemented and used within your organization.
Okay, cool. So this brings us straight to the third pair of questions, implementation and pricing. Assuming you have signed the agreement with the client and you come through the door. Let's simulate the next steps, please.
All right, once you've made that decision, and even already before, what our team does in the first step, it always has a close look at your IT infrastructure and system architecture to better understand, hey, what are the current systems that are used? How is the data managed? Where is the data? And to really be able to then offer you Omnilex not as just another tool that you have to use beside everything you already have, but really as part of your existing environment. So we really try to, as mentioned before, make it effortless for the user to use and profit from Omnilex, also with integrating all the data and the internal knowledge of the company and integrating Omnilex within the workflows that are in place already. And when it comes to the pricing, we're super transparent there. The pricing, depending on the concrete product that you will use in the end, it's between 1,600 and 2,000 euros per user and year. And then, of course, as your organization is bigger and bigger, the price will also be different.
Okay, cool. And the implementation team, does it come physically to premises?
So as a company and startup that really thinks out of the customer's perspective, we do value a lot the personal exchange. So we always also go personally to the offices, look around, get to know each other, and just give them a very tangible impression of who we are and who they are and how we can work together.
Wonderful. Speaking of customers or clients, what is, if you can, the ideal client profile for Omnilex?
Sure. So Omnilex is very much focused on medium to larger sized organizations. And when I'm speaking about organizations, we measure that by the amount of legal professionals working in the company.
Starting at what number?
I'm starting at 15 to 20 lawyers and legal professionals per team.
And you mentioned that you are serving 100 customers already. Are they distributed around the world, or are you currently primarily focused on the German-speaking countries?
We're on the way of establishing Omnilex also not only in the German part of Europe, but really the whole Europe. And the major part of those customers are in the German-speaking part of Europe.
Wonderful. So for those warriors out there who have been listening to us at this point, I need to ask the question while we are still in the studio, Marco. This simulating of the reasoning of a lawyer is intriguing. Did you partner with a law firm to really kind of see what processes a lawyer goes through before he or she makes a decision? How were you able to essentially replicate that systematic thinking?
You summarized it pretty well. We partner up with multiple law firms that really sat together with us and basically shared their day-to-day work with us.
That is super. Excellent. I think we have covered quite a bit of ground. Thank you so very much for your time, Marco Henri, CEO and founder of Omnilex based in Switzerland. Wishing you all the best, and I'm sure we'll see each other again soon. Take care.
Great. Take care. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.